John Bush and Kat Bleish here, happy as ever to be back home, although we missed the road. But here we are, back home, San Marcos, Texas, after 3 weeks and 1 day on the road, spending Bitcoin only, heading from Texas to California and back through Las Vegas, Denver, Colorado, Kansas City, and here we are. So we want to just give a quick recap of some bigger picture things and fill you in on what's coming next, and also give you some of our impromptu favorites of the trip, some of the highlights for the trip. And we'd love to hear your feedback in the comments on what your favorites were of these different little areas. I want to shout out our newest sponsor and also let you know Sovereign BTC is the podcast that's been hosting the Uncoinventional Living podcast, semi-daily podcast updates. And as soon as we have a few more that come out with some interviews we did from the road and some analysis recap, we're switching back to good old Sovereign BTC, which you'll be able to hear at least once a week on this exact same feed. And I just want to fill you in on one of the new sponsors that we have that's going to be supporting our program moving forward. That's Green Revolution Cooling. So I've done some work in the Bitcoin mining space, and it's a tough space. One of the biggest things you got to overcome is the heat as well as the energy cost. And Green Revolution Cooling has a solution for that. It's liquid immersion, submersion, which many people are starting to flock to in the industrial Bitcoin space especially. So if you're going to be competitive and keep up with the big dogs, which again is extremely difficult, it's necessary to explore some of these new innovative technologies, and one of those is liquid submersion. So you can learn more about them, Green Revolution Cooling, at grcooling.com. So Kat, just what were your thoughts on the trip as a whole? I know you had a good time, and what do you think it was? Was it different from last time around in June?
I thought it went really well. It was much more smooth than the first trip. I think this is in part because we knew what we were doing. We knew which software had, complemented our travel lifestyle and which stuff was kind of cumbersome to use. So we went straight for the good stuff. And also, I think Bitcoin adoption has spread much further in the past 6 months than I had anticipated. So it was really exciting for me to not have to eat at a bunch of chain restaurants. While we did eat at a lot of chain restaurants through Gift, GYFT, another one of our sponsors, where you can buy gift cards for anywhere, basically. I mean, not anywhere, but a lot of places, a lot of restaurants with Bitcoin. And so that's how we were able to eat most of our meals on the East Coast trip, and this was different because we were able to spend Bitcoin directly a lot more frequently, so that was nice.
I really enjoyed it, and want to echo everything Kat said. It seems like there's been quite the growth, even in such a little period of time between June and November, and I guess that's just happening exponentially in the Bitcoin space, which is awesome.
For example, when we were in Washington, D.C., there was one restaurant that accepted Bitcoin. It was like, oh my gosh, let's walk all the way across town and make sure everybody we know eats there.
One more time with that?
But this time, when we would show up into different cities, we didn't have enough time to eat at every single restaurant that accepted Bitcoin directly. And so that is the type of difference I'm talking about. Huge.
Yes, especially in certain cities and certain areas. There was a lot of choices, and we used the Airbitz wallet and business directory to find out where those places were in proximity to us. You can download that wallet and business directory. It's pretty sweet. I thought it was really cool to experience the communities that we stopped by through. Kat and I met in 2009, and the first thing that we did together was take a trip around the country visiting liberty activists, local movements, and educating people about the Department of Homeland Security fusion centers. It's actually how we met. The Department of Homeland Security brought us together.
It's true.
And what we would do is visit these different local communities and kind of immerse ourselves in them for a few days and meet with the groups that were involved and active there. So I really enjoyed being able to do that with the Bitcoin community. There's always such cool people that are so passionate and motivated about Bitcoin. Do you have any takeaways, Kat? We're going to be producing somewhat of an analysis paper on the Bitcoin travel space in general and look at what worked, what didn't work, where there's some spaces perhaps for some entrepreneurial opportunity. But what did you think? Do you have any takeaways on that front as far as bigger picture stuff?
I don't know about bigger picture stuff, I just feel really good about the direction that the Bitcoin ecosystem is moving. I think the Airbits directory and wallet is a really nice addition to our travel. Last time we were using coinmap.org, and, it was like kind of technology from the 90s is how it felt, if that makes sense. And I was like trying to zoom in real close to click the right thing on my screen on my tablet, and
it didn't work very good on smartphones.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems on my smartphones, but the Airbits, it's just clean. There's a couple kinks, but they're always working on that, and they're always asking for feedback, which is something I really appreciate. So I guess just overall, I feel like things are going in a really good direction, and I am so excited for our next trip, because I think it's going to have grown even more.
What are some places where there is lacking, though? Because, we agree that it's moving forward exponentially. Things are looking great on the up and up, but there were still some places where we came across a little difficulty that could be improved upon.
I think the southwest corridor, like the Route 66 kind of route, I guess it's I-40, that cuts through Flagstaff, Arizona, it just doesn't have a lot of options in terms of spending Bitcoin directly. We did find a place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was great. One of the greatest meals we had. But that was a Bitcoin food desert, and then so was Arkansas.
Arkansas, not much good comes out of that state. Like Bill Clinton. I'm just kidding. It's a good place, especially for Arkansas listeners. We love you. Another space that's lacking was gasoline, which we'll definitely report on in the future. There's a lot of need for people, for services that allow people to use Bitcoin for gasoline. We did hear about a gas station that's on Airbits, actually. We heard about it at the Denver Bitcoin meetup that's a little bit northeast of Denver. We wanted to check them out on our way to Kansas City, but it just wasn't able to work. All right, Kat, let's do this in a somewhat of a lightning round fashion, which is unusual for our family. But we're going to do the favorites now. We're going to go through one by one and list our favorites and these different topics, and we're going to post them on the description there, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you're listening, post in the comments. Of course, if you're participating in the LTB community and you've associated your LTB user account with a LTB coin address using Counterparty, you'll get rewarded with LTB coin for your participation. So let us know your favorites as we list them out. Okay, Kat, starting with you. What was your favorite city on the Uncoinventional Living Tour West?
Ocean Beach, San Diego.
Ocean Beach, San Diego. Why?
I just love the beach, and I love the people. It was laid back and very Bitcoin friendly.
BTC friendly. I think I'm going to have to agree. Ocean Beach and San Diego. The community was awesome. There was a bunch of great restaurants, a bunch of cool people. There was a conference in town while we were there. And we got to hang out at the beach with our kids. They loved it. Stayed at a really cool place and paid with Bitcoin. So we agree on that one, that's for sure. All right, what about your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant was probably City Taco in San Diego.
Why?
The food was amazing. We ate there 2 nights in a row, and both experience was like, I just can't explain the flavor thing that happened in my mouth. It was amazing.
Something crazy happened in your mouth, ladies and gentlemen. City Tacos was my favorite too. So there's not much diversity there, and I agree. The food was amazing, and it was somewhat affordable, and the atmosphere was cool. And man, the owner was awesome too. We got a great interview with him, and it was cool to be in good company. And we got to eat there twice in a row. I have a close runner-up, however, Southern Hospitality in Denver. That restaurant was very nice, very classy, sweet menu, had some awesome brisket. Kat, what'd you think about that place? And did you have a runner-up that's a close second?
I really liked that place, but I'm a vegetarian, so I think I had one option, and I think they're going to be expanding that in the future, which will be exciting. I'm trying to think if there was a runner-up. I don't know. Those tacos were so good. I'll have to think about it, but at this point in time, no.
She'll get back to us. You had mentioned another one that was close behind. I forget where. Oh, the Crepe in Las Vegas was amazing. Remember that place, Crepe? They had jazz. They had a kids area to play. The food was fantastic.
I'm not saying I'm going to retract my City Tacos vote, but ooh, Can I have a tie?
I'm going with the
I
tie.
think I'm going to have a tie.
Politically correct.
No, honest. That's an honest. I love them both so much.
She's an honest woman. A little too honest sometimes, if you ask me.
That's because you're afraid of the truth, John.
Wow.
Call out.
All right. On with the fun. So, what do you think is one of the most up-and-coming Bitcoin communities that we visited on Uncoinventional Living Tour West?
Well, I think San Diego is shooting quickly toward great adoption. I think Las Vegas is. They're probably a little bit more established, I think, than some of the other places. They've had places that accept Bitcoin for quite some time. Denver seemed like it really had a lot going on, too. I felt like there was a lot there. I was really disappointed by LA. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think San Diego, Las Vegas, and Denver seem to have a lot going on.
I'm going to go with Denver, Colorado. I think the community is growing. There's a lot of restaurants that are beginning to establish themselves and a lot of restaurateurs that are part of the Bitcoin community and the meetup. And they just opened a Bitcoin Center, which makes a huge difference, having a collaborative open space there. They had mining. They have a bunch of ATMs deployed throughout the city, which you can find on Airbits, which is pretty cool on the directories. If you ever need to know where to buy or sell Bitcoin, you can just scroll through and see which Bitcoin ATMs are in proximity to you. All right, what was your most useful tool? I'll go ahead and answer that one first. Speaking of Airbits, I think it was the Airbits wallet. We love Gift, GYFT.com, and CheapAir.com, and we use them regularly. But this time, I felt like I was getting the opportunity to try out a new toy because we had downloaded the one before when it was just a directory, and we started to use it at the tail end of the last trip. They reached out to us. Paul Fue did, the CEO. But this time, we really got to immerse ourselves in it and use it as our primary wallet, and, of course, use it to find places all across the country. It's where we found the gem Ortega's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the middle of a giant food desert. There it was. Kat, what was your favorite tool, most useful tool?
Well, in terms of tools, I would say Airbits. John wants me to say that he's the most useful tool. Call out.
She outed me before the program. I thought, hey, what a great joke. I'll ask you what the most useful tool is, and you'll say, well, you were the most useful tool, John. But instead, she outed my pre-planted joke. I don't pre-plant jokes often, folks, if ever, just for the record.
That's why this one bombed.
Okay. All right, Airbits, you said?
Airbits was definitely the most useful tool. I feel like Gift and CheapAir are more of a service. I don't know what definition you're going on tool, but in terms of like being able to do research on places that took stuff directly, I felt like Airbits was really the one.
That's airbits.co.
Now, a non-Bitcoin related tool that I really liked was bringfido.com. That was how I was able to find pet-friendly hotels. I could then cross-reference with other websites to figure out a hotel to buy with Bitcoin.
Bringfido.com. And a shout out to Gift too, GYFT.com. We use them a lot, and they were a saving grace. Just like in June, when you're in a Bitcoin food desert, there's always going to be a Chili's or an Applebee's. We didn't eat at any Chili's. I think we're done with Chili's, but Applebee's actually was rather satisfying the most recent time, and the staff was super cool, and the kids were going crazy.
They always go crazy at Applebee's.
Must be something in the water. Fluoride, no! Okay, what was your favorite drive?
My favorite drive was probably leaving the Grand Canyon when we saw the deer, moose, elk creatures on the side of the road, and one happened to be breastfeeding.
Nice. What was your favorite non-Bitcoin related thing? We did some entertainment stuff along the way. What was your favorite touristy kind of deal?
The beach. The beach. The beach.
Mine was the beach in San Diego, not as much the beach in Venice Beach.
Let me tell you why I didn't like the beach in Venice Beach. Several reasons. One, there was trash everywhere. Two, you had to walk like a mile to get to the water, and two toddlers kind of struggle with that. And as the mom, especially when I went out while John was working, I'm like carrying all this food and sand toys and just all this stuff. And then
a dog.
and walking the dog, and then 2 kids want to be held at some point. But also, there was a police helicopter that circled around our head multiple times while police SUVs were trolling up and down the boardwalk, and it scared my children. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, oh my gosh, are we going to watch someone get, like, attacked or arrested, or what's going on? Thankfully, we never saw who they were looking for, but it was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a police state, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so my favorite drive was probably the drive through Utah to see all the cool mountains and plateaus and stuff, and then the drive through Colorado. Even the scary part. It was exciting.
I did not like that part.
It was hardcore, folks. Hardcore. You'll find the podcast if you haven't listened to it. Freezing Our Satoshis off in Colorado, and the one prior to that. Okay, what was your favorite podcast of the series?
My favorite podcast is probably the one we were doing as we approached San Diego and we went through the checkpoint. And it was like just this random freak thing, and we just kept recording and cruised on through.
Yeah, Welcome to America. There were people from other countries that commented on that one, like, there's internal checkpoints in the United States? Oh my God, I thought it was a free country. Actually, I don't think anybody thinks it's a free country these days. My favorite... What was that? Did you say was your favorite drive? Oh, favorite podcast. We're on favorite podcast, yes. Mine was the Colorado one, because I had the opportunity to fit in 4 different interviews, and I think it really gave... I hope it really gave listeners a good feel for the community there and all the cool stuff that we were able to do. The Colorado podcast. Denver up-and-coming Bitcoin community, something like that. Okay, what was the funniest moment, Catherine Bleish?
The funniest?
Yes. I got something that popped into my head, although I don't know if it was funny per se. This moment? No, driving through Denver after our meetup and then picking up some pizza at Pizza Republica for Bitcoin directly. That was cool. And then running into the Ferguson solidarity protests.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny per se, but it was kind of like a crazy moment. You got anything on funny?
No. Oh, I think a funny moment. I feel bad saying it was funny, but in Denver, we were cat sitting this girl's house, which was great because we didn't have to pay for a hotel. And our dog, who, if you followed our live blog, you've seen him. He's this like 25-pound Yorkie Poodle mix. He got just whooped by one of the cats, and he just
Both
stood
of the
there.
cats.
Well, one was just kind of participating, but the other one was doing like the 2 hands off to the side and the whack, whack, whack all over his face, and he just stood there, and I had to pick him up and carry him out, and I feel bad saying it's funny, but...
He's in the corner right now moping. His feelings are just torn apart.
I'm sorry, Murray. He's just so sweet, and he's really at the bottom of the totem pole everywhere we go, just everywhere.
Yeah, poor guy. Okay, so another funny moment was when I was crapped on by a bird.
So not only was he crapped on by a bird, but when he was walking toward me, I was taking pictures, and I thought all these birds flip over his head, and I thought, I wonder if one of those birds is going to poop on him. And he got pooped on. And I think we figured out later in pictures, right? We saw the picture. I took a picture of you walking up, and the poop. Never mind.
Something like that. Whatever. All right, and finally, the most uncoinventional moment. What thing that happened kind of was the essence of our uncoinventional philosophy, an unconventional way of life with Bitcoin?
Walking down Ocean Beach, sidewalk, boardwalk thing, seeing some people selling art, saying, hey, I like your art. Will you take Bitcoin? Oh, I don't know. How do I do that? I've heard of Bitcoin. That's cool. Well, you download this Airbits wallet. Okay, I'll do it right now. All right. John, wait. We're going to buy some art. Ollie, pick something out. Voila.
Shazam.
Shazam.
I like that moment too, and I especially like us setting up those couple waiters with with Airbit's wallet so they could get a tip in Bitcoin. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty uncoinventional. And then, of course, it was really cool to buy whiskey from the gift store at the D Hotel in Las Vegas. So that was sweet. All right, well, there's our favorites, folks. We'd love for you to comment down in the comments and tell us your favorite city, favorite restaurant, most up-and-coming Bitcoin community, most useful tool we used, or even most useful tool you use, favorite drive from what we described. I guess you didn't experience it. Funniest moment, most unconventional moment, favorite podcast. Let us hear it. Let us have it. Earn some LTB coin. Speaking of earning LTB coin, how about a magic word? What should it be, Kat? First word that goes to your mind. Go.
I don't want to say the first word. It was foul.
For the listeners that can't see, she motioned a flick off. I don't think it was to you, the listener. It was probably to me.
It would be a funny magic word.
We're working through some stuff, folks.
Put it all on the table.
Just throw it out there. This is the authentic podcast. We're trying to give you that authentic blush experience. Okay, so the magic word for today is flip off. F-L-I-P space O-F-F. Flip off. Not flick with the C-K, but flip with a P. F-L-I-P space off. All right, folks. Again, this will be the Sovereign BTC podcast. We have a few more interviews to release. One with Paul Fway, CEO of Airbits. One with Bob Podolsky of the Titania Society, which is all about decentralized peer-to-peer communities with small groups of 8. And just also want to remind you, the Sovereign BTC podcast will be coming back at you, bringing you news, views, and tips and tools you can use to implement Bitcoin in your daily life, and also giving you a nice little raw liberty perspective of how Bitcoin can be used for more than a valuable currency system. It can be used to really change the world, disrupt the status quo of monopoly, coercive institutions, and help spread the furtherance of liberty and voluntary association. So again, I want to thank our newest sponsor, Green Revolution Cooling. Check them out at grcooling.com. If you're running out of space and power, they can help you get more from less by lowering your power and your space requirements. All sorts of cool, radical technology. If you're into Bitcoin mining, you definitely want to explore this as a possibility for you. Again, that's grcooling.com. And I want to thank a couple more of our sponsors, Broker.com, BRAWKER.com. It's a proxy facilitation service, basically, where you can buy just about anything, especially online, with Bitcoin. You place an order, someone bids on it, they buy you the good or service or online gift card or Visa gift card like we purchased to use for gas, and then you send them Bitcoin. Or vice versa, if you're looking to get some Bitcoin while still respecting your privacy, you can purchase something for someone, send it to them, and they'll send you Bitcoin. They use multi-signature addresses. Really cool setup. We'll be learning more about them in future podcasts. And also shout out to WatchMyBit.com, the world's first Bitcoin micropayment video service. They're in beta mode right now and need some help testing out their really cool service that will allow you to watch no advertisement-free videos with small Bitcoin micropayments. So you can check them out free of ads. And then if you're a video content producer, you can make a little money while you spread your message. So it's Broker.com, BRAWKER.com, and WatchMyBit.com. Peace, freedom, Bitcoin, love. Kat, what do you got to say? Don't blast me again, please.
Peace, love, and Bitcoin.
We'll be back, folks. There's more where this came from.